What's going on? What's going on? Top of the morning to you. This is Opara, PA licensed real estate agent and investor, hitting you with another weekly recap. Let's get it. Time. Come here. Forgot to mention my co-host for today will be none other than Zion himself. Ready to talk about what happened last week? Hey, Boogie. Let's go. So I am super proud of one of my coaching clients. He closed on a property last week, and just super proud of where just the growth. You know what I mean? Just the growth, the conversations that we have about properties now versus the conversations we used to have when we started the program are just fantastic. We're very much so on the same page now. He's looking at properties the way that I would be looking at properties, and putting in offers almost identically to where I'd be putting in the offers at. And it's just such a very, very proud moment to have someone that comes in, takes hold of the information, acts upon it, and his first transaction is going to be helping him get that much closer to his goal of financial freedom. So let's talk about that project real quick. So that project, we picked it right off the MLS. I keep telling people it's a lot of deals in plain sight right off the MLS. So we put that on the MLS, took a look at it as soon as it hit the market, and the place needs work. It needs work. Not as much work as I think most people will believe. This was something that was, I believe, was a fire damage. So when you went in there, it was like, oof, looks crazy. And on top of that, it had a make safe as well. And if you're not familiar, you're not going to be familiar with what that is, but it's just an extra step needed before you can start work on a property, mainly because of the fire that it had. So anyways, one of the things that was a big relief is because we got the make safe, and the report just says we have to patch the roof. So this guy is picking up a property, and I forgot to mention this, but we're also going to be running a conversion play, which is something I teach heavily or almost exclusively as a coach, because it's such a powerful way to it's just such a powerful thing to do in real estate. So having some wardrobe malfunctions with this chain. Anyway, so the property was listed online as a single family, and what we're gonna do is run a conversion play based on the rules and regulations and zoning and all that fun stuff, and we should be able to get 1 bedroom on the first floor and a 2 bedroom on the second floor. And that should be able to generate, I'd say, around 935 plus 1133. So for, what is that? 3, 5, 8, 3, 3, 6, 9, 20, 2068, I think. Roughly $2,000 a month. And I can't imagine that the mortgage on this is going to be more than $1,200. So first project out the gate, looking to net about, probably around $700 to $800 a month. So if he does 10 of these type of projects, he'll be sitting very comfortably at around $800 a month, which is fantastic, because that will put him very much so on track to hitting his retirement goals, right? And with everything that we go over in the coaching program, there's no reason why you can't do 3 or 4 of those type of projects a year while maintaining a full-time job. I mean, that's it. It's very doable. I personally, I'm at like maybe project 8 or 9 right now. And I'm full blown, you know what I mean? Those are personal projects, and I'm managing other people's projects. I think in total, I have 11 things running right now. Now, this is what I do full time, day in, day out, eat, sleep, breathe this stuff. But for someone who's not as entrenched in it, it is very realistic to say 3 or 4 a year. So imagine doing 3 or 4 a year, and maybe you're not as good at this, guy. So maybe you only do $600 a month as your net profitability. So if you do 3 or 4, that means you're building a net worth, you're building cash flow of anywhere from 18 to 24 a year. So that means in 5 years, you're at 10,000. You should be around $10,000 minimum, right? And that's a much better play than the whole 90-year, I mean, not 90-year, where did I get 90 year from? That's a significantly much better play than the retiring in 40, right? So yeah. And the thought process behind all of this is not to say, oh, well, you don't need to, you no longer work. You can still work. You can still, if you enjoy your job, then you still do what you got to do. There's nothing against that. But now that just becomes an option, right? Becomes an option. You get control of your time, your resources. When you decide to work is when you decide to work. And I think that's really what we're all after. So yeah. So in other news, there's something I want to talk about. Haven't really been public about it just because I it's something that I'm trying. It's something new that I'm trying and haven't quite mastered it yet or felt proficient enough to bring it up. But I do have an Airbnb. It's out by the airport, and so far we're doing good. Really good, enough for me to consider, hey, this is something that we want to definitely double, triple, quadruple down on. So in from the Airbnb I have now, I've learned so much that I felt very confidently that when I was going to do the second one, we would make a lot of changes and be way more profitable, way more quicker the next go around. In fact, I was actively searching for properties that I was going to use to convert to my next two Airbnbs and kind of keep that momentum going. But did y'all know that the city of Philadelphia was trying to ban Airbnb and not directly ban it, but impose restrictions on Airbnb that would make it so something crazy like 90% of all Airbnb hosts would be extinct. So one of the things that they're trying to do, or not trying to do, they're in the middle of doing it, is they're passing legislation that will allow you to get a license to do short-term rentals. Okay, no big deal, right? Not a problem. That's just the city's way of getting an additional fee. I'm with it. Get your money, city of Philadelphia. You know what I mean? As long as everybody eats, kumbaya, let's go. I'm with it, right? Hakuna Matata. But the issue with that licensure is that it requires you to have a property that's CMX3 in order to operate this Airbnb. So that my friend, just obliterates everybody. I mean, city of Philadelphia isn't even a predominantly a CMX type property, and most people don't own a CMX type property. Majority, I would say, are RSA3, RSA5s. They're going to be your RM1s. Maybe you have a RTA or something like that. Translation, like 90%, 85, maybe 95, some ridiculously high number of Airbnb hosts like myself will absolutely get obliterated because our properties don't have that classification. And that sucks. That needs to be stopped. So what I did maybe a week ago was it's like Philadelphia Sharing Organization, something like that. They hosted Philadelphia Sharing Organization, I believe. I'll double check the name, put the links in the description. They have partnered with Airbnb and they put on a presentation on methods that they were going to use to try to fight the legislation using successful tactics that they had in other parts of the U.S. And I am a little bit concerned because up here in the Northeast, New Jersey banned Airbnb, New York banned Airbnb. So now it looks like it's just coming down, and we're gonna, the state of PA, or at least Philly, is following in that direction. And it just kind of sucks. I think Airbnb is an interesting profit center. I know me personally, between Airbnb and PHA and the multifamily conversions, I could see a massive growth in my revenue stream. It's way more active than I would like it to be, but the returns are there to offset it, so I cannot be mad at it. So yeah, so stay tuned for that one. You know, even if you don't have an Airbnb, I think it's something that everyone should be fighting to keep in place. That's what I think everyone should be fighting to keep it in place, because eventually it's something that you should want to do. But at the same token, even if it's not something that you want to do, I don't think it's a right that should be taken away, right? I think everyone should kind of stand up and fight to keep this thing rolling, whether you're profiting from it or not, because it's a lot of our livelihoods. Anyways, more news to come.